It was only 10 seconds. 10 seconds of Selena Gomez walking beside Benny Blanco, talking to him while he stared down at his phone. He didn't look up. He didn't react much. He didn't even shift his posture. And somehow, that tiny moment lit the internet on fire. Because when you slow it down, when you replay it, when you zoom in on body language frame by frame, it starts to feel different. Selena appears engaged, leaning slightly toward him. Benny keeps his eyes locked on the screen. And just like that, the narrative begins. Is he ignoring her? Is something off? Is this what their relationship actually looks like when the cameras aren't staged? Of course, it was just a short clip, but sometimes short clips do the most damage. The reactions came fast. Some viewers called it uncomfortable. Others said it felt dismissive. A few went further, claiming the energy between them looked cold. And when moments like this hit social media, people don't just watch them. They dissect them. Benny eventually responded in the comments under one repost, writing, "This is literally a 10-second clip." Which technically is true. 10 seconds don't define a relationship. But that didn't stop people from comparing this moment to other public interactions. Because this wasn't the first time fans noticed something subtle. At a basketball game outing, another clip went viral when Selena reached for his hand, and there was a split-second pause before he reacted. It was brief, probably nothing. But once hesitation enters the conversation, it sticks. Micro moments become evidence. And that's when people started contrasting these clips with how Benny talks about her in interviews. In interviews, he sounds completely different. He describes waking up thinking about how to make her day better. He says they don't yell at each other. He talks about giving her space when she needs it and how they communicate through everything. He even admitted proposing was the scariest week of his life because he hates lying and had to hide the ring. That energy feels soft, intentional, thoughtful. So when people see him distracted in public, the contrast feels sharper. But here's where it gets layered. At the same time these relationship clips were circulating, another conversation was picking up speed. Selena's voice and the way she's changed over the years. If you compare older interviews to recent ones, there's a noticeable difference. She speaks slower now, her tone is deeper. There are moments where she pauses longer before answering. And then there was that viral freeze clip where she appeared almost still during an interview, eyes fixed for a few seconds while the interviewer kept talking. That clip confused a lot of people. Some viewers started speculating wildly. Others questioned whether something was wrong, but Selena herself has addressed parts of it. She's spoken openly about living with lupus and bipolar disorder. She's explained that sometimes her throat swells internally, which can affect how she sounds. She's talked about stiffness in her hands and how finding the right treatment changed daily life. Health changes don't always look dramatic. Sometimes they show up subtly, in tone, posture, pace, and when the public sees those changes without context, they fill in the blanks themselves. That's where it gets complicated, because once people start sensing difference, everything else gets filtered through that lens. And then, almost on cue, another old chapter re-entered the timeline. Hailey Bieber posted about celebrating 10 new years with Justin. On the surface, it seemed celebratory, but fans immediately pulled up receipts. They resurfaced that 2016 New Year's kiss photo between Justin and Hailey. Then they pointed out that Justin and Selena rekindled in 2017, before finally splitting in early 2018, only months before Justin and Hailey got engaged. The timeline has always been messy, and messy timelines don't disappear. They resurface, especially when captions feel pointed or nostalgic. Whether Hailey meant anything by it or not, it reignited old emotions for longtime fans. And when Selena is already being analyzed for her current relationship, old history adds weight to the scrutiny. Because now the conversation isn't just about Benny's phone clip. It's about comparison. It's about patterns. It's about whether Selena is being cherished the way fans think she deserves. Then came another moment. Selena spotted arriving at LAX alone. No Benny in sight. The internet immediately jumped to conclusions. Why wasn't he there? Was something wrong? Was she traveling solo because he avoids flying? That detail matters, because Benny has mentioned being uncomfortable with planes before. But airports are transitional spaces. A single photo doesn't show the full story. being alone in public doesn't equal being alone in life. Still, in a hyper-documented relationship, absence gets magnified. Around the same time Selena posted vacation photos from a snowy getaway, instead of just enjoying the scenery, some viewers began questioning whether the images were AI-enhanced. They analyzed shadows, lighting, texture. In 2026, apparently, even snow looks suspicious. That says more about the internet than it does about her. We're living in an era where nothing is taken at face value. If a photo looks polished, it's fake. If someone pauses too long, it's wrong. If a partner checks their phone, it's distance. And when someone like Selena, who grew up in the spotlight, shows even the smallest change, people notice. But here's the bigger question. If that 10-second clip never went viral, would anyone think something was off? If Benny had looked up 1 second earlier, would this even be a conversation? Relationships don't unfold in perfect cinematic moments. Sometimes one person is distracted. Sometimes someone is tired. Sometimes body language doesn't translate well through a screen. At the same time, fans feel protective. They've watched Selena grow up. They've seen her heartbreaks. They've followed her health journey. So when they sense even a flicker of imbalance, they react. Is that overanalysis? Maybe. But it's also emotional investment. The truth is, none of us are inside that relationship. We're watching fragments, clips, photos, captions, interviews, tiny windows that feel larger than they are. And when you piece together fragments, you can build almost any story you want. The distracted boyfriend narrative, the health-strained dynamic narrative, the comparison to the past narrative, or the simplest one, two independent adults navigating life in public. What stands out isn't proof of distance, it's how quickly perception shifts. One viral moment can tilt the tone of an entire relationship in the public eye. So now the real question isn't whether Benny ignored Selena. It's whether we're seeing a genuine shift, or projecting one. Because sometimes a 10-second clip is just a 10-second clip, and sometimes it becomes something much bigger than it ever was.